You don't need a spark of inspiration to start. Success isn't about feeling ready. It's about showing up again and again and again, even if you feel like you're showing up in mismatched socks. Hey, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here today. We are diving into one of the most common struggles that we all face, showing up when we don't feel like it. Maybe it's showing up for work, or it's showing up for a goal you've been putting off, or even just doing the dishes after a long day. Whatever it is, you're not alone. But guess what? You don't have to feel like it to do it. Today, I'm going to show you why that is and how to make showing up easier. Okay, let's dive in. I want to tell you why showing up feels so hard. Here's the truth. It's not about laziness or lack of motivation. It's about the way our brains work. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. It's like a cat avoiding water. Even the simplest tasks can feel impossible on tough days. It's as if your brain is saying, let's just stay cozy and safe right here, right? How many people have tried to put a cat in the bathtub? It's very difficult. Our brains are the same way. But every time you push through, you're not just completing a task, you're shaping your identity as someone who shows up no matter what. You think, well, I'll do it when I feel motivated, but motivation isn't reliable. Instead, we need to learn to act without it. Waiting for the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. Waiting until we feel confident, we're never going to feel completely confident. Life is messy and the conditions will never feel just right. But the perfect time to start is right now. Even a shaky first step will move you closer to where you want to be. You didn't know you were going to get pep talk Alli today, but that's exactly what you're going to get. I remember one morning I had promised myself I was going to write and the alarm went off and my first thought was, this is not happening today. I don't feel like it. I didn't sleep well. But instead of giving in, I told myself, just sit down. Just sit down for 5 minutes. If it's terrible, you can stop. 5 minutes. That's all I made myself do. And those 5 minutes turned into an hour of focused writing. The hardest part is always starting. We will fight it. Everything in us will fight it. It's just how we're made. It's not you. It's not me. It's everybody. Let me give you another example. It's like when you're at the gym and the first 5 minutes on the treadmill feel like torture, right? They always do. We hate it. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. Does my knee hurt? My ankle's kind of sore. Did I roll my ankle? Maybe I shouldn't do this today. But by minute 6, something shifts. Your body begins to warm up and it's not as bad as you thought. That's how showing up works. It's hardest at the start, but it gets easier the moment you take that first step. It's just how it works. Let's talk about next. I want to talk to you about the science of resistance. Did you know that your brain is actively working against you? It is. We've talked about it before. It's the amygdala, that part responsible for fear. It hates discomfort. I mean, it absolutely hates it. It sees anything hard or difficult and says, nope, that is a threat. We don't want any part of that. But there is good news. You can override the amygdala's alarm by simply getting started. Even a tiny action sends a signal to your brain that says, this isn't dangerous. This is okay. You can stand down. The resistance fades once you're in motion. That's what's shocking. Your brain actually will reward procrastination with a dopamine hit when you avoid a task. Again, we got to know a lot about the science of dopamine so we can know how to manage it. That's why it feels so good to scroll Instagram instead of starting that project. It's not just avoidance, it's biology working against you. But when you take even the smallest step forward, you shift the reward system and you will break the procrastination loop and it helps rewire your brain. Remember, I talked about on an episode before, rewiring your brain is like entering a forest and you have to carve a new path. There's a simple path over here that you could take, but that's the old path. You don't want to do things in that way anymore. So you're hacking through the forest with a machete, right? It is really hard to build those new paths. But once you clear the brush and you clear it out, that is the new path that you walk on. Now, here's the incredible part. Every time you act, you are rewiring your brain. Every time you act, you are hacking through the forest with that machete. You're creating that new pathway that will make it easier to show up next time. It's like paving that clear road, right? You hack through it, then you clear out the brush, then you pave it, and it is your road. So every small action creates a ripple effect. That email you send, That phone call you make, it might seem tiny, but it sets bigger things in motion. Think of it like this. Every time you choose to act instead of avoid, you're planting seeds in your brain. Over time, those seeds grow into habits, and those habits build the foundation for success. Even one small action like opening your laptop to write an email tells your brain, we're doing this. It's not scary. That's okay. That is a very powerful thing for your brain. But here's the twist. Your brain would rather conserve energy than tackle anything hard. It's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain is programmed to avoid discomfort. But you can trick your brain into shutting up and shutting off those fear signals by starting small and watching how quickly the resistance fades. It's that easy. It's that simple. Because the truth is, feelings are like toddlers throwing tantrums. One minute they want a popsicle, the next they're melting down because the popsicle stick broke. They're totally unreliable, right? We can't let our feelings drive us. I want you to think about this. What's one area of your life where you've been letting feelings hold you back? I want you to write it down, keep it in your mind, because we are going to tackle it today. I want you to think about a man we all know well. We've studied him like crazy, Moses. Moses didn't feel ready to lead the Israelites, but he showed up because he trusted God's calling. Imagine if he had let his feelings of inadequacy stop him. Imagine what callings in your life that you're hesitating on because of your feelings. And again, we pay attention to feelings. Feelings give us data on what's going on in us, but feelings aren't calling the shots. What feelings will give us are a lot of excuses. I want to talk about excuses next because we use so many that are all the same. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. Does that sound familiar, right? These excuses feel valid in the moment because of our feelings, but most of the time they're just fear or discomfort talking. So here's how to fight back. I want you to ask yourself, is this really true or am I just uncomfortable? I'm going to ask it again. Is this really true or am I just uncomfortable? Think of it like when you avoid laundry. You know it's not going to fold itself, but you convince yourself it's fine when the basket's there for one more day, and then you shine a light on your excuses and they will lose their power. I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write down your top 3 excuses for not doing that thing that you know you want to do, that you're called to do. And next to each one, I want you to write a solution. For example, I'm too tired might be, I'll just take 10 minutes to start, right? Reframing your excuses will turn them into opportunities. I'm going to say it again. Reframing your excuses can turn them into opportunities. So your top 3 excuses for why you're not doing the thing that you do want to do. Next to each one, I want you to write a solution. For example, I'm too tired becomes, I'll just take 10 minutes to start and see how I feel. Take your excuse, turn it into an opportunity. That is the best tip you're going to get all week. One of my favorite hacks is the 10-minute rule. So you tell yourself you'll work on a thing that you're avoiding, just 10 minutes, that's it. After 10 minutes, if you still hate it, you can stop. But 9 times out of 10, you won't stop because momentum is magic. Momentum can either keep us stalled or momentum can keep us going to do what we want to do. As I've mentioned so many times, the hardest part's getting started. It's like pushing a boulder, but once it's rolling, you feel unstoppable. It's not just about finishing the task. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable. Think of the 10-minute rule as a trick to outsmart your brain. It's like telling a kid they only have to eat one bite of the vegetables. Next thing you know, hopefully they've eaten all those vegetables. Give yourself permission to start small and watch how quickly those small steps will add up. And here's a super practical idea. Think of a task you've been avoiding, like cleaning out your closet. Set a timer for 10 minutes and commit to only that. If you stop at 10 minutes, you might find yourself in the zone and you might actually want to keep going. But either way, you've made progress. Now, here's what I want you to hear me say. Self-compassion is not laziness, especially for all of you Enneagram 1s out there, for everyone that has a really strong inner critic. A lot of people confuse self-compassion with slacking off, but we did a whole show on self-compassion. If you haven't heard it yet, I'm going to give you a quick reminder. Self-compassion is a superpower. It's about treating yourself with kindness and not criticism. Think about how you would encourage a friend. You would say, I know this is hard, but you can do it. Just take one small step. But better yet, channel your inner coach and say, you've got this. You can do it. 10 minutes and you'll love it. Whatever you need to hear, whatever you need to do to get yourself going, let's just try it. I want to remind you this. Thomas Edison didn't say, I'll invent the light bulb when I'm in the mood. He tried and he failed over 1,000 times because he knew the secret. You don't need a spark of inspiration to start. Success isn't about feeling ready. It's about showing up again and again and again, even if you feel like you're showing up in mismatched socks. Each time you do, you're not just completing a task, you're building a legacy of faithfulness and perseverance. And that is important. For all of this, rituals really can be your secret weapon. They take the decision-making out of the equation. For me, it's simple things like putting on my workout shoes right after my morning tea. I know what I'm going to do. It's what I do. I drink tea, I put on my workout shoes. Rituals create a bridge between resistance and action. They're like anchors in your day that keep you grounded and focused on what matters most, including that calling, whatever it is that God has put on your heart in this season. I want you to ask yourself, what's one ritual that you could add to your day that makes showing up easier? It could be a million little things, just something small, because it's in the small things that accumulate together that add up to a life. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a pool and it's freezing and your brain is screaming, don't jump. And you're thinking, why do I even come up here? But the second you leap in, you're unstoppable. That's what showing up feels like. It's painful for a minute, but so worth it once you get in. Okay, so where does all this leave us? Bossy Big Sister episode today, I know. We've uncovered the science of resistance. We've talked about the value of faith over our feelings, the beauty of breaking through excuses, and just the power of the small things. Here's what I want you to take away. Showing up isn't about being perfect. Showing up isn't about doing everything right. It's about persistence. It's about faith. And it's about choosing progress over comfort, one small step at a time. Think of every time you show up as a seed that you're planting. It might feel like it's nothing in the moment, but seeds grow. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You just need to take the next step. You need to trust that God meets us in our obedience and multiplies our efforts in ways that we can't even see. So here's your challenge. Start now. Whether it's writing a single sentence or lacing up your shoes or sending an email, I just want you to start. Your future self will thank you. And remember, when you show up, you're not just moving forward, you're building the habit of being the kind of person who keeps going no matter what. Keep that machete out. Keep building that path in the forest. This is new ways of living that before long become completely automatic. Okay, now let's talk about recommendations. Since I have already told you that I'm working on managing my stress, and always one thing that I realized is I love to think about work. I love to think about new ideas. I love to brainstorm episodes like this. I love to think about new products. I love to think about things that I'm going to do in the app. I love it. However, my body has told me through the data that when I think about work all the time, I do stress out a little bit. So I'm working on lowering my stress, and I've been doing that by embracing more fiction. Now, I listen to fiction so I can turn off my brain if I'm going for a walk or doing housework or anything else, because if I don't manually, with something that I'm listening to, turn off my brain or having a conversation with someone, if I don't force my brain to turn off, I will go to work. And that will increase my stress, even though I love work. It's a weird thing. So for me, listening to fiction turns off my brain. And I have a book that I think you might love. And it's called First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. It's a New York Times bestseller. I loved First Lie Wins. It kept me guessing the whole time. It's mystery. It's exciting. Kind of had a little social commentary in it. It's one of those books that really is hard to put down or hard to take out of your AirPods. So I loved it. It takes a lot for me to enjoy fiction, for fiction to win me over these days. I'm a nonfiction girl at heart. I read this one in 3 days. I absolutely loved it. So if you read it, if you listen to it, send me a DM and let me know what you think about it, because I thought it was great. And you know what else I think is great? I think it's great that you are here. I'm so grateful we get to spend this time together every week. because investing in yourself and your spiritual health, your emotional well-being, and your personal growth, it isn't just about you. It benefits everyone, your family, your relationships, and your community. That's why you're here week after week. You're learning and you're growing and you're building a healthier, stronger life. That's why you made it through yet another episode of me fussing a little bit in bossy big sister mode, because you are the kind of person who wants to get things done. You're not the kind of person that wants procrastination and feelings to take them out. You want momentum. You want to show up even when you don't feel like it. I love that about you. What I know is that you are capable of so much because the Spirit of God lives in you. The dreams in your heart aren't there by accident. God placed them there, and He's going to give you everything you need to live them out. It is my joy to get to coach you and equip you. Thank you that you let me remind you every week that you've got what it takes. So keep stepping up and keep showing up and loving well, because you can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Hello, hello. Here we go. Good to scroll Instagram or TikTok. I don't want to say TikTok in case it's dead. Whew. Calming down the cheeks. Okay. And cut. We're out.